Okay, good. So, once again, you're welcome to class. Today's class is, we're looking at GRC. And it's a very interesting concept. It is actually an organizational practice, an industry standard, and also in some clients, aided by law, guided by the law of the land. Christina, I'll listen to you. Guided by the law of the land. GRC stands for governance, risk, and compliance.
Hi, boss.
You said?
You have not given us the right definition for the data privacy.
I actually said you should refer to the recording.
No, you were saying something before it went off.
Oh, Christina, okay. I'll just briefly say it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Data privacy actually is a right. Yes. Those of you responded by saying it's the protection of. You are correct. It is protection. But to start off by saying data privacy is protection, I do not agree with it. As a subject matter expert, I don't agree. It is first a right. The reason why I go by that is because data privacy is aided by law. And whatever is aided by law, whatever practice is aided by law has to be recognized accordingly. So it is a right. There is no enforcement of data, or let me say, there is no data privacy in the absence of the law. Quote me any day. Appear before any audience, any expert. Tell them that whoever says data privacy, who gives you a straight answer, that is the protection of, tell them no. Data privacy is first a right. There has to be a legislation, an enactment before data privacy can be effective. I hope you are getting me. So you cannot talk about data privacy in Europe in the absence of GDPR. You can't talk about data privacy in UK in the absence of Data Protection Act. You can't talk about data privacy in Nigeria in the absence of NDPR. In fact, data privacy was nothing in Nigeria until NDPR became a commission as a law and then a commission. So data privacy is first a right. The right of an individual to ensure that data that pertains to him or her in the custody of another man is protected. Yes, first, in the custody of someone else. Like HIPAA, IPTEC, and all of that. There are all data privacy laws in the US and can be enforced against any data custodian accordingly. I hope you're getting me. So it's a right. Quote me any day, anytime. Data privacy is first a right. And there will be no data privacy, no talk about data privacy in the absence of a law. Data privacy, data protection are like senior brother, younger brother of the same family. We can enforce data protection in the absence of any law. Yes, of course. My data in Facebook custody should be protected. My data in Google's custody should be protected. There shouldn't be any law to that effect. But when it comes to privacy, it becomes narrowed down to a kind of protection. That protection, if it is not there, I can sue them. For instance, Femi Falana has taken Facebook to court, citing NDPR, claiming there is a gross violation of his data in their custody. Femi Falana would never have done that. Femi Falana SAN would never have done that in the absence of what? After all, Facebook has been existing in Nigeria for almost 20 years, if I'm not mistaken, or more. So why now? Why is he enforcing it now? Is this the first time, in quotes, Facebook will be violating the data? Or I wouldn't want to use the word abuse, but use the word violates supposedly the data of other people in their custody. Of course, this is not the first time. Zuckerberg and the rest of his team, they've all appeared in Congress and also in the parliaments of other nations to face issues of what? Data privacy or compromise of data. Also in courts, globally, in India, Facebook has been taken to court. In China, it's been taken to court. Colleagues, go to the internet, you find it. They've had issues with the governments of the land. Okay, what about Kenya? Cambridge Analytics. If you remember, the election that brought in Kenyatta, Uhuru Kenyatta, of course, it was taken to court, even taken to court outside the judicial boundaries of Kenya, on the basis that Facebook revealed data or released data to Cambridge Analytics, and the rest is history. I hope you're getting me. So all of these are possible because there are laws enforcing. Let that be enshrined in you, that data privacy is a right, and that right, the right to that my data is protected, including protection as it borders on, as it concerns how it is collected, how it is collated, how it is processed, how it is stored, how it is transmitted, how it is shared, how it is used. I hope you are getting me. How it is accessed. All of these actions on my data, protection, the level of protection or ensuring there is protection across these processes on data that concerns me is what we call data privacy. So on my part as the data, on my part as an individual or your client or customer is a right. On your part, there's the responsibility of what? Protection. And that is why I'll cap it with this expectation of what? Privacy. Remember, reasonable expectation of privacy. Please, I strongly encourage you. Go and listen to that class again. I strongly enjoin you. Go and listen to it again. Some of you might end up being data privacy experts. I don't want you to underperform. Go and listen to that class again and add more to it. Please, that is not all there is. That class we had, or those 2 classes we had, are not all there is to data privacy. But at least that's the foundation. So please, you do right, you do well by going. Now, let's start today's class in earnest. Christian, I hope I've been able to answer your question.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. So let's look at another critical aspect in the field of, it's not a tech field. I will say this loud and clear. GRC is not a tech concept. It is a standard practice. Please, I am speaking as an authority now. I have taught this in various fora where people take me up in form of questions and opinions. And I did well by dotting the I's and crossing the T's. So I don't know if there's anyone in the class who has had any form of lecture or training on GRC. Whatever you were told there, if it's not in tandem with what I'm about to teach now, please, you do well by asking questions. The onus is on me and on my colleague Emmanuel and on SkillToPro to ensure that we dot the I's, we cross the T's, we balance it. The onus is on us. Are you getting me? Now, not because you paid for this class, but for the fact that you go through a tutorial or tutelage under SkillToPro, we have the ultimate responsibility on us to ensure that we balance the thought. Are you getting me? And I have that, and I'm going to do it accordingly. GRC is not an IT concept. Let that be emphatic. Let it be stressed. It is a standard organizational practice. Are you getting me? IT is just one of the functional areas in an institution. Marketing is one of them. Operations is one of them. Finance or accounts or treasury is one of them. You know those departments, which technically we call them functions. I've said that before in this class. I will not be using departments going henceforth. I'll be using the word functions. So all the functions and sub-functions in an institution require the implementation of GRC, either at unit level, at functional level, at sub-functional level, at sectional level, or divisional level. Or let me even put it here, at business unit levels. So GRC is a standard practice, industry standard practice. It's one of the best practices there is today. So it stands for governance, risk, and compliance. But before I take you straight on, sorry. Have I taken you this? Somebody should help me. Have I taken you this? It's looking like I've taught you this before. I stand corrected. Have I taken you this picture? Christiana, you've always been in class. I just mentioned your name. Or Babatunde.
But you've mentioned the GEIT. You've mentioned.
I've taught this, right?
Not this picture, not this picture, but I think you mentioned something like the governance of enterprise IT. Yes, you've mentioned that one before.
You've not spoken to this diagram.
No, not on this diagram.
No, you talked about GEIT, governance enterprise information.
I did not use that. Means okay, one last question. I think our last class we actually ended it on privacy, right?
Yes, thereabout.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, sometimes I get it mixed up because I take
a lot of classes, yeah. So probably you look at the last 2 minutes of the last class.
No, you're correct. No, your feedback is the ultimate. Your feedback is the ultimate. I don't need to refer. Thank you, sir. I don't need to refer.
I'm sorry I couldn't speak. I was in the kitchen, and that place was noisy. So
that's the reason I was perceiving the smell of the meal from there.
I'm about to head to work, but I'll be listening. Don't worry.
Who is choking me with this delicious delicacy?
I'm the one guilty of charge.
You are the chef. You are the master chef in the kitchen.
Yes, sir. I'll be listening on, even though I'll be driving.
No problem.
I can't talk. I'll be listening. Hello, everybody.
Thank you, Babatunde. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. Quickly, I actually use this picture to teach GRC. Yes. So let me say to kickstart the concept of GRC. There is an error in this picture that I found. Somehow escaped my mind. I have not corrected the one on this PDF. You'll find privacy downwards. Sorry. The last rectangular box at the bottom is not privacy, it's actually protection. So please, I'm going to correct this by the time before it gets to you. The text gets to you. This is my coinage. Yes, it's my development, and I use it to illustrate the concept of GRC. The reason I do this is because, number one, I teach GRC-related certifications, and Emmanuel does too. We both do, and SkillToPro does. Let me put it that way. And then GRC has become a career path. More so, there are C-suite positions, not positions for GRC. Mind you, I once told you that I'm prepping you for the C-suites. My colleague Emmanuel too is joining in that direction. We are all prepping you for C-suites. You might not be there in the next 1 year. You might not even be there in the next 1.5 years. Or even you can be there within the next 1 year. You just might be there, you just might not be there. But please let it be in your mind, engraved in your mind, that this journey SkillToPro is taking you, is prepping you for C-suite role. And GRC can equip you for the following positions. Number one, Chief Risk Officer. 2, Chief Information Officer. 3, Chief Privacy Officer. 4, yes, you heard me say that. Chief Privacy Officer. 4, Chief Compliance Officer. And by extension, can also equip you for Chief Technology or Chief Information Security Officer. Yes, I said so, and I'm not mistaken. Although, to be a CTO or a CISO, you need beyond just GRC. As in, the current concept of GRC, you now need some technical know-how, technologically and security, to be CTO and CISO. I hope you're getting me. GRC knowledge is not enough to make you CTO or CISO, but it is an essential part of all C-suite offices, an essential part of their portfolio. You just must know it. And you can specialize on it from now. Most, in fact, hardly would you find any large institution today, institutions within the large, there are the SMEs and the large institutions. There's no large institution today that does not have a GRC function up there. And I'll cap it up with this, that the GRC experts in workplaces do not, I stand corrected what I'm about to say, do not operate at operational level. There are 3 levels of work, in a workplace, in an institution. There's the operational level, there's the middle or tactical level, then there's the corporate or strategic level. I am yet to find a GRC job that operates at operational level. I'm yet to find it. I mean, as a GRC officer, most of the jobs are between middle level and senior or corporate level. I think that would appeal to you to want to be part of GRC. That's 1. Then 2 is that GRC gives you a bird's eye view of the enterprise. Then 3 is that GRC, as a proficient expert in GRC, you'll be working more at the head office or at regional offices. For instance, if you work with Meta and you are a GRC officer, you might be working at the head offices of countries where they operate. I hope you're getting me. Hey, so that's where you truly operate. So it's a choice career path. There are certifications for it. And that is what actually makes it desirable. ISACA has, all ISACA certifications are GRC certifications. Yes, from CISA to CISM to CDPSC and likes. But their C-Gate certification, CGEIT certification, is on GRC specifically. IC Square has CGRC, certified in GRC. OCG, Open Compliance and Ethics Group, has about 2 or 3 certifications from Associate Professional on GRC. We have 2 slides on this presentation about OCEG. Then there are other certifications that I might not be able to call from mind now, but then it's a career path. That's where I want to put it. Now, I told you it gives you a bird's eye view of the institution. Very correct. Then number 2 is that, hello, hope you can still hear me. I hope I'm still audible. Can I get a thumb up? Hope I'm still audible.
You are very audible, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
You are very audible.
Thank you. So the name governance is not new to us. Risk is not new to us. Compliance is not new. But fusing these 3 to now form a 4th is quite learning. Is worth learning. Are you getting me? What it? So I want to put this in you. We are going to learn GRC across, it's not just a chapter. We're going to see it across 3 chapters as we continue. So it means we may not be able to exhaust it today. And tomorrow, I'll see if we can. But it's professional path, career path. Let's just know it. Let's know it very well. It all starts from the top. Yes. But before I take you up there, there's this practice associated with strategic management, or let's say corporate management, so to put it. It is called decision making. Something is key with the echelons. Yes, the policy makers. That which is key with the echelons in an enterprise is called decision making. I trust and I hope also put together that you will all become echelons where you work. If not echelons in paid jobs, but you become an echelon in your own establishment. And so I need you to take with you what you're going to learn into your self-owned institutions, or into institutions you will be working with, or into institutions you'll be consulting for. So I want you to be grounded. I want it to be good. That is it. I want it to be very good. Now, decision making has 2 perspectives. I told you that the primary responsibility of those at the top, the echelons of an institution, is actually decision making. The approach to decision making can actually be top down or bottom up. Mind you, there won't be any implementation in a workplace without decision making. Decision making is the pivot of every action in a workplace, in an institution, in a business entity. If it is not decided, there will be no corresponding action. Hope you're getting me. So, decision making and all the strategies, courses of actions to implement the choices or decisions made or policies implemented can be taken top down or bottom up. Now, for governance-related decisions, they are top down. I hope you're getting me. Corporate-related policies are top down. I hope you're getting me. Strategic moves are top down. That is, echelons decide it and it spirals down. I hope you're getting me. Please, if you're not getting it, you do it by just unmute or just raise your hand and ask a question. Now, decisions, why they are always made top down and communicated as such, implementations in response to these decisions oftentimes are what? Bottom up. That does not mean that there are no bottom up decision-making procedure. Of course there are. A good example, in a highly centralized institution, most of the actions or most of the decisions are what? Top down. Centralized institutions are basically found in the financial industry. Banking, insurance, stock, the financial industry. Most of the decisions are top down because their system is highly centralized. But for decentralized institutions, most of the decisions are what? Are bottom up. Management in a decentralized decision can sell out a general position on things. That's not necessarily the decision. Please listen. Now, the divisions, the strategic business units we call SBUs, and the other, operational centers can now decide that decision or those decisions now tailored towards the position of management at the top. You know what I mean? In a decentralized setting. So management can sell or communicate, this is what they want or they desire. The decision to actualize it can be decentralized because of the uniqueness of the various operational centers or operating environments. I hope I'm communicating. So I hope you get that picture, top down, bottom up thing. Now, this is where I'm leading you. In GRC, as an industry best practice, the approach is primarily top down. So I didn't want to use the word top down straight on without first explaining the concept of top down and bottom up. But please, you do well by going to learn more about top down approach to decision making, bottom examples, use cases. Okay, that's not what I'm teaching now. Otherwise, I would have given you use cases to buttress those points, the concepts. So please, you do well by learning more, and then you do well by knowing the best time to use top down and the best instance. That's the correct usage. The ideal instance, actually, the ideal instance to use top down and the ideal instance to use bottom up. There are some decisions that should never be top down. Some decisions should never be bottom up. For instance, please, for instance, the word culture, corporate culture. If you want to introduce a practice as a corporate, I'll just give you a use case now. If you want to introduce a practice as a corporate culture, it should never be bottom up. I hope you are getting it. It should be top down. For instance, if you are introducing ERM framework, enterprise risk management framework, you shouldn't be using what? Or let me just use the word industry standards. If you're introducing ISO, for instance, and your institution is present in 4 continents, Africa, Europe, North America, and Asia, for instance, and you want to enforce a particular industry standard, of course, you can't use bottom up. It has to be what? Top down. So I hope you get that instance. Now, let's bring it to this picture, this image in front of us. The first box is called, has 3 words, or let me say 3 statements that are the same. Governance of enterprise IT, enterprise governance of IT, or IT governance is all the same, except that it is used individually across different professional bodies. Hope you're getting it. For instance, ISACA uses the word gates, G-E-I-T, that's how we pronounce it, gates. But later in their review, in some of their subsequent journals, they reviewed it and called it Egypt. But some other books I've read still maintain the word gates. In some other texts and articles I've read, it is ITG, IT governance. Please, the concept is the same. What this simply means is this. First thing first, what is even governance? Let me start from there. Governance is a system, note that word, is a system by which an organization is directed and controlled. Please, in the concept of governance, there are 2 key words: overall direction and overall control. So that's practice, that implementation called overall direction, overall control, can be implemented systemically. That is why I use the word is a system by which an organization can be directed and controlled, or it is the process and at the same time the practice of ensuring there is an overall direction and control for an enterprise. That's what we call governance. Please note, or you call it corporate governance. We are saying the same thing. But because of the size of functions in institutions, take for instance, Meta, Citigroup, American Online, the American Online Express, Amazon. Look at these institutions. They are even too big to mention. There are institutions not as big as this, with presence across geographies, either within the same country, like the US or UK, or across countries. Okay, did I even use, did I call UK country? Let's say UK having 2 and 3.5 countries. Will, I only jokingly I say it's 3.5. I always classify will as half. Don't mind me, I'm just being funny. Now, imagine an institution having branches or offices across these countries that make up UK, or across geographies in Europe. I hope you're getting the picture. Okay. Now, in that light, IT department will be big enough to be an institution on its own. The same thing too for operations. The same thing too for marketing. The same thing too for, they are big enough to be institutions themselves. There's some organizations, their IT and IT related departments accommodates more than 1,000 people globally or regionally. I hope you're getting me. For that size, you can't just be talking about management anymore. You'll be talking about governance, because governance is an enterprise oversight. Management is a functional oversight. In other words, governance and management are both oversights. I hope you're getting me. They are enterprise oversights. They are, let me put it for simplicity's sake, they are organizational oversight. You are providing oversight. But in the light of governance, you are providing a strategic oversight, or you are providing an enterprise oversight. That is the oversight that cuts across all functions of the organization. But when it comes to management, you are providing functional oversight. So in the light of management, the oversight is localized to that function. For instance, the oversights Emmanuel has over, Emmanuel is a CISO, the oversight is got over his function, his management. But because he is a CISO, his responsibility is an integration of both governance and management. Because every C-suite office holder has corporate governance responsibility within their portfolio, not just management of their function, which has superior subordinates, what we call a line of command. I hope you are getting me, which requires management. But horizontally, Emmanuel has a governance responsibility over his institution because he is a CISO. The same thing too for anyone in the house who holds a C-suite office, a C-suite portfolio. You have both governance and management oversight responsibility on your shoulder. I hope you're getting it. Now, because of the size of individual function in very established institutions, governance responsibility is now localized to these functions. In other words, IT requires a governance practice. Marketing requires a governance. Don't note, governance is an enterprise practice, which is providing overall direction and control. But because of the enormous size of these individual functions, the need to localize governance practice to IT, governance practice to marketing, governance practice to operations, governance practice to finance, governance practice to what? Legal department, the need for it became necessary. So the governance practice over IT is what we, over the IT function. For instance, Meta, the IT function of Meta, the governance practice over that function is what we call GATE or EGIT or ITG. I hope you're getting me. Now, as a way of implementing this practice, a concept was introduced. That concept is what we now call GRC. Because in governance, there, in fact, okay, let me make a complete statement. In governance, there is risk management, there is control, there is security, there is compliance. I hope you're getting me. In standard governance practice, we have all of these involved in governance. But as a way of, I don't know, those who came up with this concept of GRC, I mean, they did well. I give them kudos because risk and compliance are actually necessities within GRC. But I think I understand why they called it GRC. The reason is that G operates using top-down, but R and C operates both top-down and what? Bottom-up. I hope you're getting me. We can't use a top-down approach to implement governance. No, governance is strictly, sorry, we can't use a bottom-up approach to implement governance. No, 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 no. It is strictly top-down. But we can have risk, controls, compliance, security being implemented as what? Both top-down and bottom-up. So because governance is now localized to individual functions as a way of bringing it into individual functions, GRC was introduced. I need you to understand that concept of GRC. That is governance in that function, risk management in that function, and compliance in that function. So we have GRC legal, GRC IT, GRC finance, I hope you are getting me. So we can integrate governance into the individual function using GRC. I hope I'm still communicating. Can I get a thumb up if I'm still communicating? If I'm still audible? You can still hear me. A quick one, please. A thumb up. Oh, thank you, Christiana. So, it is from this concept of GRC came data governance. Now, this is where it becomes more beautiful. Funsho, look at this. Oh. There is governance in gates. There is governance in GRC. There's governance in data. Are these three not the same? No, no, no. They're not the same. And I need to explain. If you look at the word data governance, it is further narrowed down to data. That is, governance has become, the practice of governance, the implementation of governance has become so standardized that not only is governance integrated into functional practices, governance is now integrated into just one aspect of tech, which is called data. That means because of the concept of big data, yes, please, you can go do a personal study on big data. It was actually big data that gave rise to data analytics today. Before analytics came, it was actually called data analysis, which was primarily the responsibility of statisticians. But when big data came, both structured, unstructured, and semi-structured data, I'm sorry, I can't teach that now. When big data came, mostly what amounted to big data were semi-structured and unstructured data. The need for advanced form of analysis came. That is, analysis beyond the norm, analysis beyond the usual model came. Analysis with the aid of what? Advanced technologies came. That gave rise to what we call data analytics. And that's where you now have tools like what? Like Power BI, like Tableau. I hope you are getting me. So that if you now intend to develop, you want to be a programmer who will be able to develop codes or programs that can be used to further analyze beyond available data. The skill required now goes beyond analytics to science. In this field, you are now learning the algorithm of data analysis. I hope I'm not getting it too technical for you. So please, if you choose to know more, you can go and do personal study from big data to data analytics to data science to data engineering to data architecture, now to the oversight required for data governance. Please, you do well by going to job sites and search job vacancy on data governance. I put a bet on it. You will see loads of jobs available with the title data governance or data something governance or information something governance. I hope you're getting me. You can see the word inform. It's either it starts with data governance or information governance, but you will find it. I'm telling you what I've done. So you do well by going to job site. These things we teach you. Please go to job site and confirm if there are actually job positions for these, if there are career paths for it, if there are skill sets for it. Whatever has a job vacancy ultimately becomes a career path. That's one. Whatever has a job vacancy, whatever concept has a job vacancy ultimately becomes a skill set. I hope you're getting not just a career path, but now has skill sets for it. So it means because there is data governance as a job role or several job roles related to data governance, the need for skill sets on data governance and management, it becomes a necessity. So those of you who will be interested in the governance of data, you do well by towing the path of GRC. But then note, GRC is general. Data governance, you are now specific. That is, the governance in the GRC, you are bringing it down to data alone. You remember when we started this journey, I took you through what we call system theory, right? I told you that in a system, we have technology, we have people, we have processes, and we have what? Communication. You remember? Please refer to that video or that recording. Now, in IT, we got three key attributes. We got hardware. In IT, note, not information system. In IT, we got hardware, software, and data. So, gates, I take you back again to gates. If you acquire skill on gates or EGIT or ITG, you are providing governance responsibility or governance oversight over the whole of IT, including information system. But if your skill is narrowed down to data governance, it means that oversight is on data alone, not on the entire IT infrastructure. I hope you are getting me. Although your rights to be a CIO might be a bit limited. I hope you are getting it. It means your skill is just on data, not on the entire IT infrastructure. So please, even if you're going the path of data governance, after you've acquired the skill, you do well by skilling up into gates or ITG. And I hope you get that. Now, it is within the scope of governance that we now have data privacy and data protection. That is the key word. Now we have done privacy and I've mentioned what protection is when we started the GRC journey. So I've talked about this, GRC being governance, risk, and compliance. And these are what you're going to learn in this journey called GRC. So I've told you that GRC is a standard practice. It's an organizational, is a corporate principle and best practice. Yes, the essence is to provide, to ensure that oversight is provided, risk is managed, compliance is enforced. I hope you're getting it. I'm saying it straight on that way for simplicity's sake. That governance, the practice of GRC is to ensure that oversight is implemented, corporate oversight is implemented, whether the GRC is legal because there's GRC legal, GRC finance. When I mean legal, that means it means legal department. There's GRC tech, IT, there's GRC finance, there's GRC. There are some institutions localize it that way. Why some institutions, for their job positions, you just see GRC open-ended. To further confirm this, you can go to job site. Just search GRC vacancy on what? Or vacancy on GRC legal, you will see it. GRC finance, you see it. GRC IT, you see it. Why for some institution, it is just open-ended, GRC. So, but let's see what Rini Murphy, also referred to as distinguished evangelist. He said GRC today must look across the risk and regulatory landscape to give boards, who are these boards? BOD, Board of Directors, centralized oversight of the most pressing challenges the organizations face. Would risk management be simpler if you had a unified view of governance, risk, and compliance? Over the 17 years within the GRC industry, this is Rini still talking, I have seen this as a game changer for an organization. Let me lend support, because I strongly agree with what Murphy said. I want to lend support to what he said by saying that GRC is a unified and an integrated practice of providing oversight. Please note, a unified and integrated practice of providing oversight, responding to risk, and enforcing compliance. Are you getting me? From a standpoint. So it is from that unification, from that central point, that we are ensuring that there is corporate oversight, there is risk management, adequate or functional risk management, and also that the institution at functional levels and at corporate levels are complying with standards, rules, regulations, and laws. I hope you get the picture. I want to summarily put that GRC is an assurance function. In itself, it has become a function in the workplace. Really, yes. There are institutions that now have GRC more like a department. Yes, CBN in Nigeria rolled out a policy enforcing GRC with a framework to that effect. You can go to CBN/publication. You will find it there. Or just Google the GRC, CBN GRC policy. You will find it on their site. So they clearly stated what it should be and how it should be. So that is why when you go to the headquarters of financial institutions operating in Nigeria, you will find GRC operating more like a function, although most of them refer to it as GRC team. So they work in tandem with other departments or functions. What I mean here is that instead of have GRC operates individual function, like what I mean is GRC IT, GRC legal, GRC finance. So instead of have GRC localized to these functions, we now have it as a team interrelating with the various functions. I hope you get the picture. So what one of my students, a few years back, whom I trained for CISA, actually got a job with Polaris Bank before leaving the country as their GRC team lead. So in that instance, GRC is operating as a team, working with other with the process owners across various functions. Now, I have a question for you. Using Polaris Bank as an instance, operating GRC as a team, what implementation is that? I won't give you option. I take it again. Polaris Bank as an instance or as a use case, operates GRC as a team, what form of implementation is that? Who would answer?
That's GRC Finance.
Okay, Babatunde, thank you for the response. Who else would want to give us an answer? I take the question again. Polaris, like I just cited, a one-time student, but now colleague of mine, got a job with Polaris Bank as a GRC team lead. And they operate from the headquarters, interrelating with the process owners. Heads, what we call process owners are just heads of departments and units, with the process owners of various functions. What kind of GRC implementation is that? Or what kind of implementation is that? I gave you two concepts. I don't want to mention it. I gave you two concepts when it comes to something.
Hello, I think it is top down.
Thank you. That is what I want. That's why it's not. Baba, today I twisted it. I got it twisted. Oh, sorry. I hid something from it. So, the practice of having GRC as a team instead of being a function, I hope you are getting me, is what? Is top down. So that the team now works with the various process owners and their functions and their sub-functions, ensuring that GRC governance, risk compliance is adequately implemented. I want to tell you one of the reasons why most institutions implement GRC is for regulatory purpose. Like in CBN today, Sanusi Lamido, or in the early days of Emefiele, that GRC was enforced in Nigerian financial industry for the large institutions, not the SMEs actually. The reason is because there is the requirement for a monthly submission of GRC reports to CBN. So as a result, they got no choice but to implement GRC. And in the absence of that, comes with heavy fines. Yeah, that's why I said you can visit a CBN site. You can search. You know why I say you should do that? So you can have a clue how GRC framework looks like. But I'll see if I can grab a copy and so be sent across to us through. We have a channel for that to be communicated across. So you see, for those of you who actually wants to master GRC, you understand the framework, how it looks like. But please, can I cap it up with this? That note, I said most institutions implementing GRC is because there is a requirement for that they should report their level of what GRC implementation. So as a way of responding, GRC is formed. But please note, if you are onboarded as a GRC manager or a GRC analyst, there shouldn't be GRC analyst. It's a wrong job position. GRC shouldn't have an analytical role. No, it should be because it's an implementation role. Please note for job application purpose, we shouldn't have something like GRC analyst. That would be a wrong application. It should be, a wrong job role. It should actually be GRC specialist. Please, you need to understand the difference between the job role of an analyst. There can be cybersecurity analyst. It is correct. Yes, of course. Most entry level into cybersecurity jobs are actually analytical roles, either as a blue team or red team. But when it comes to GRC, it should never be analyst job role. Never. It should be specialist or professional or GRC manager or that kind of thing. And lastly, please, you see all these positions, head of. I want to strongly encourage you. I don't believe in head of. Head of is not a rank. It's just, I don't know how do I put it for simplicity's sake? When you say head of, I don't believe in head of. It's just a name. Thank you. Just a title, a job title. It's not a rank. But when you hear things like analysts, specialists, these are professional job titles, technical job titles, not head of. So if you are applying at all, if you find job vacancies as a head of, well, if first of all read through the sorry, I do guidance on this. So it just came to my, that's how I want to already push it out. I do job guidance once in a while. So if first of all, read through the job description, if you find head of, and then when you apply, nothing stopping you from apply, but you can give them conditions. If you apply and you qualify for the job, right? And they're asking you, okay, what are you looking for? No, during interviews, an ideal interview after you've been queried, should expect, okay, what are your questions and all of that? Please, if they are going to onboard you, let it be part of the condition that after your, hello, Adedeji, please, you do well by muting your device. After your probation period as head, let it be part of the condition that you should be transited from head to, I hope you're getting, if it's manager, it's manager. If it's senior manager, it's senior manager. If it's GM, it's GM. I hope you're getting it. So you might resume the job as head of, but let it be part of the condition. After probation, you should transit from head to, and secondly, team lead is the same thing as head of. It is not a rank. Team lead is, anybody can be team lead. A junior officer can be team lead. I hope you know that. A junior officer can be team lead as long as he or she has the skill sets. So team lead is not a rank. It's just a title. And it's most times ephemeral. Anybody can occupy headship. Anybody can occupy a lead. You get it. But for some institutions, they use the word lead as a cover, or behind it, there's a rank to it. So you do well by doing your inquiry. Maybe if you apply for the job of a team lead or head, you do well by asking that, is there a job rank, a rank assigned behind this head or lead team? If not, let them know that after your probation period, you should transit into full scale, either this or, you know what I'm talking about. So please, they are good for your profile. We are building profile. We are not building CV. Profile is more professional. So we're not building CVs. For you to, that for the fact that you have entered this journey, you are not building a CV anymore. You are building a profile. Hope you are getting it. So please. I'll see if how we can bring it on to this as added value after this the end of this journey. I'll say we can have maybe 2 sessions on profiling, on building a profile. I hope you are getting it instead of a CV. Even if you are using a CV to apply, it should look more like a profile. It should speak for you. It should be very emphatic. And at a glance, it should look like a KPI for KPIs with results. I don't know if you are getting me. Your CV, your profile, or your resume should look like a KPI, like you understand what I mean? Like a KPI with a result, so that if you throw it out for a job, whoever is viewing it should stop and look at it well. Shouldn't just glance through it, you know? Or when you are talking before an audience, you should be able to pay attention that they listen to you and they are. I just want you to be at your best. Okay, so this is what OCG, called Open Compliance and Ethics Group, said. It said a GRC, this is their definition in 2007. That was when the concept of GRC became official. Yeah, the word GRC became an industry acclaimed concept in the year 2007. When they gave us this, that was when they introduced the first Red Book. Their framework, the first GRC framework ever was released 2007. It was called the Red Book of GRC. That's why we have the first version. Currently, we have version 3.5. So you can go to the sites. You can Google OCG, and you can say OCG Red Book 3.5. That's the current framework. I'm sharing this because of those who may be interested in GRC career path. Please, whether you will be trained by SkillToPro on that career path later as you skill up, or you will be trained elsewhere. Please note, make sure frameworks on GRC, you are trained on it, you are trained on how to develop an implementation program to incorporate GRC into your institution. I hope you're getting it. So that you know some of the GRC framework. COBIT is one of them. Control Objective for Information and Related Technology. IC Square has one. I'm trying to remember the name now on GRC, but I know the very popular one is called the OCG Red Book on GRC. They define GRC as the integrated collection of capabilities that's not the word. Integrated is a unified collection of capabilities. So GRC is not a capability, but capabilities, including governance, risk, compliance. Even some authors use the word compliance and control. Yes, in some texts I've read. So it's a unification, an integration of capabilities that enable an organization or its functional areas, operational areas, to reliably achieve the objectives, address uncertainty, and act with integrity. That's quite full, the definition. So that's the definition from GRC. But the takeaway from this whole talk on GRC is that it is a unified practice. It's an integration of capabilities. The whole essence is to ensure that organizational objectives are achieved, uncertainties borrowing from this definition are addressed. And when we get to risk management, I'll expand the word uncertainty, and that the organization is complying with industry standards and best practices, also with rules and regulations, including laws that are enacted for that industry. So let's see the light of governance here. Like you can see the process of ensuring that all organizational activities align with support and advance the organization's overall goals and objectives. Please, I want to ask a question around this definition. I've taught you what I'm about to ask you. There are 6 pillars. Sorry. Is it you I taught? Oh gosh, it's not you. I'm sorry. Is it you I taught? 6 pillars of governance, 6 objectives of governance. Please, have I mentioned, sir?
It's not also.
Thank you.
Yes, you mentioned it.
Okay.
So I think that should be when you talk about strategic alignment, risk management.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. That means I've taught this class. Hey. So there are 6 pillars, right? When it comes to governance. Number 1, there must, okay, sorry, before I mention the 6 pillars, somebody said I've mentioned it. Look at this definition of governance. Please, which of these 6 pillars there's one core, fine, in governance, there are 6 objectives. But if you look at this definition is actually specifically mentioned one of them. Specifically, what is that pillar? Somebody should look at the definition and mention it. Of the 6 pillars I mentioned, I'm going to mention the 6 pillars. So somebody, please share with me. There's one of the pillars that this, I hope you are getting it. That this definition is specific about. Can somebody mention? Okay, let's mention the pillar again. One of the objectives or pillars of governance again. 1 is called strategic alignment. 2, value delivery. 3, performance measurement. 4, risk management. 5, resource allocation or resource management. Then 6, assurance process integration. If you were in that class, you will recall these 6. 1 out of these 6 can be found in this definition. What is that one? Think. Oh, yeah, mention. Okay, let me help you out. It's strategic alignments. Governor, I'm still going to teach the 6 pillars. I think it should be in one of my slides here. Yes, these are the 6 pillars. When I get there, I'll teach it. Now let me take it now. When I get there, yes, it's there. So They said governance defines and enforces the various activities. Board composition, governance will determine that. Corporate disclosure, executive compensation. All of these are found in governance. But while we're not going so detailed into governance, the bottom line is that governance provides overall direction and control for the organization. Now, what do we mean by overall direction? What are emblems of overall direction? That is, if we hear this, is a pointer to direction. If we hear this, it's another pointer to direction. One of them is called vision. When you hear vision, corporate vision, mission statements, core values, norms, I hope you're getting me. These organizational cliches or corporate cliches, right? They point to what? To direction, corporate culture, the way we do things here, our rituals and routines. All of these points to where the organization is heading. Our strategies point to where the organization is what? Is heading. Then control, ensuring that the organization is functioning as designed and will continue so. And where there are deviations, necessary remediations are put in place. That's control. I hope you are getting it. So control has the following objective. Mind you, I said in governance, there is overall direction and control. And I've given us emblems or artifacts of overall direction. The artifacts, again, are vision, mission statements, corporate culture, corporate philosophy. You know those organizational cliches, corporate cliches, they amount to what we call artifacts in an institution. They are pointer to where the organization is heading. That's direction. But when we say control, control is a measure. Control is a practice. Control is also a system. It is institutionalized within an organization to ensure that is this practice called control. These measures called control are institutionalized, are implemented either at functional level or at enterprise level to ensure that that function or the entire organization is functioning as designed, functioning as created, and will continue so. I hope you're getting me. It's functioning as designed. That is, if it's functioning as designed, it will achieve its objectives. And also that it will continue so. And also where there are deviations, that necessary measures are put in place to address it. All of these are control measures. So in control, there is operational effectiveness. In control, I like to put it this way, in control, there is operational effectiveness and efficiency. They are not those two words are not the same. In control, there is risk management. I hope you are getting me. In control, there is a going concern. That is continuity. Please, I hope I'm not becoming too technical. I've been using technicalities, technical jargons in this class, and that is how it will continue. I'm sorry. It's a professional class. I cannot use something less than that, but I can only explain it or explain them. So can I get a thumb up? We have 30 minutes more to go. Can I get a thumb up? I hope I'm not becoming too technical. That is why you are here. Anyway, please, a thumb up. Or am I communicating? Let me even say it that way. Am I still communicating?
We are with you. We are with you.
Thank you, Christiana. Thank you. The reason why I am like this, and my colleague Emmanuel is, of course, Emmanuel too is even hotter than me in these slides. Now, the reason why we are like this is because we have an objective, and I'll reiterate, is to make of you a C-suite holder. That is our objective. That's our aspiration for you. We want you to be C-suite. So we want you to understand C-suite language. You take it or leave it. That is it. Oh, the fact that you walk through the journey with SkillToPro. I'm sorry, we can't make you less. We cannot. it might be sounding advanced. Our approach might be advanced. It is true. You are correct. If it is advanced, but we can't make it less. You can't go through the journey with SkillToPro and remain the same. We will skill you up. I hope you are getting me. Technically, professionally, what do you call it? In the use of corporate language, corporate linguistics, we will skill you up. Take that from us. I hope you are getting me, because we operate at that level. So we have to prep you for that level. I want you to go for a job interview or appear before a team of panelists. And when you are talking, it's either they are writing or they are listening with rapt attention, or what else again do I bring in? You are communicating. In fact, it will be a discussion session. It will not be a query and answer session. I hope you are getting me. That's what I want you to become. Yes, that you are discussing in, it will be more like a forum. When it gets to your turn, like perhaps you have engaged 5 persons before you, you're the 6th, or you are the first person. Imagine if you're the first person to be engaged. What do you think will happen to the rest after your engagement? Nobody will tell them that something has started, emotion. You have started emotion before them. So that is our aspiration, and we want to achieve it. So sorry if we apologize, if we are making it quite advanced for you. Please, we were not where we are today. We were once like every other man. Then we skilled up to become who we are today. And we have not retired. We are still adding to ourselves. It will interest you to know what study we are undergoing currently. Yes, it will interest you to know that we are in school. I mean school. We are still being tutored. We are still learning. Yes, so please, if we are still learning, not to say you, apologies, please. It's not intended, we do not intend to spite anyone or to undermine anyone. We just need you to know that this is where we are heading. That's part of our corporate governance practice. So that's our overall direction. Okay, thank you. Thanks for understanding us. So I take it again, in governance, there is overall direction and control. So direction now, control here, okay, direction is whatever the organization's practice or policy or enforcement that shows where they are heading. That's direction. But measures they put in place to ensure that they are functioning as designed, which is in the light of effectiveness and efficiency, that they will continue so. That's in the light of what? Assurance, going concern, that where there are deviations, these deviations are identified and addressed accordingly, which we call risk management, amounts to what? Control. Okay, thank you. Let's continue. Effective governance uses data, information, and hard evidence to develop strategies and make decisions. I mentioned this earlier, that the primary responsibility of governance is decision making, right? And when we make decisions, we now develop strategies to implement them. So key data sources for decision making is internal audits. Mind you, I said decision is premised on what? Information or data, and data can be structured, semi-structured, or unstructured. So sources of data or information for decision making can be internal and can also be external. So what we have here, actually internal data, internal audit, assurance reports, example of assurance report like quality control reports, like testing reports and all of that. Yeah, assurance reports, then compliance monitoring reports, risk assessment reports. All of these are internal, and it is not limited to this. Internal sources of data for decision making by echelons. And then we have got external sources of data from regulators, from industry analysts, from other professional bodies, standard issuing bodies like ISO, like NIST, like TOGAF, like OCG. They are all a framework and a standard issuing bodies. So they provide information externally for decision making. So that's for governance, but not all there is to governance. But I think at that point, we have been able to lay a good foundation for it. Then we got risk management. Please, this is not all there is to risk. There is a whole chapter under the concept of GRC, dedicated risk management. So risk, what is risk? Let's start from there. Risk is simply uncertainty. Risk is an uncertain event, or is an event with uncertain outcome. Let me put it that way. Risk is an uncertain event with undesirable outcome. I think I love that definition. Risk, first thing first, is an event. I'll teach it much more later. In subsequent class, yes, in our next class we'll teach risk. Risk is an event, but that event has an attribute, a key attribute called uncertainty. That is, it may happen and it might not happen. Or should we apply mathematical algorithm called probability on it, we can be sure that it will happen. Mathematically, probability is the likelihood that an event will happen or may not happen, which is expressed between 0 to 1. If that algorithm is applied to a supposed event and it is not sure, there is no results from the algorithm applied that the event will occur, we say the probability is 0. If the result from that mathematical application called probability is very low that it will happen, then it's something around 0.1 or 0.2. The clearer it becomes that the event will happen, then you find the number getting close to 1. So if the probability of an event is sure, then it is equal to 1. The probability of an event occurring is sure is equal to 1. If the probability is less sure, it will be hanging less than 1, but above 0. That means 0.1 to either 0.9. I hope you're getting it. So that's where the concept of uncertainty comes in. We can't be too sure that it will happen. And even if we are sure that it will happen, we can't be too sure of what the impact would be. Definitely, every risk event has an impact. I hope you're getting me. So two things are key in the light of risk. Number one, Olusegun Adedeji, please, you do well by muting. We can hear some background noise there. Thank you. Number two things are key in the light of risk, because I need to understand risk first before the management part of it. Two things are key. Number one, it is an event. Then number two, that event has an outcome. So just the way project two, a project is a collection of what? Activities with expected outcome. And that is how risk is. Risk is an event or set of events, but there is going to be an outcome. And the outcome here is undesirable. I hope you get it. Now, when we now say risk management, for simplicity's sake, management is an oversight. So the oversight function of identifying risk, assessing risk, and controlling it or responding to it is what we call risk management, for simplicity's sake. I don't want to make the definition of risk management. I would have loved to define it according to an industry standard. ISO 31000 is an industry standard on risk management. But I don't want to go that's one very long definition. I don't want to call it out from my head and read it out to you. But for simplicity's sake, management is an oversight, just as governance is an oversight. So the oversight responsibility of ensuring that uncertain events or uncertainties are identified, are assessed, and are controlled is all are responded to is what we call risk management. Within an institution, there are functions that respond to risk. For instance, internal audit is a function that responds to risk. Risk assessment is a practice that responds to risk. So within internal audit, we can conduct risk assessment. Within risk management office, we can conduct what? Risk assessment. I hope you're getting. We'll talk more about these later when we get to risk management. I love risk. I'm a risk person, so sorry, risk management person. I love talking about risk. I love to teach risk. The reason institutions fail is because of risk. The reasons institutions are successful is their ability to manage risk also. Please note that. The reasons institutions have issues, fail, or close to failure is because of risk, uncertainties. And the reason institutions are successful is still within their capacity or capability to manage risk. So you can see how pivotal risk is to an institution. Okay, compliance, being the third leg in GRC, the compliance is ensuring that the organization is in tandem with laws, regulations. Please, it's not limited to laws and regulations alone. No. Ensuring that the organization has its activities, operational activities, aligning with regulations, laws, rules, policies, standards, frameworks, as long as the institution has domesticated them. So compliance is not only for laws and regulations. It's also for internal policies. I hope you're getting me. And here now, the organization has a system at work to ensure that operational activities are aligning with the dictates of the system. It's compliance. Hope you're getting me. So I want you to go with this mindset, if you intend to be a compliance pro or a compliance officer, that it is not tilting towards, compliance is not tilting towards laws, regulations as it's coming from the external environment, because laws, regulations come from the governments, from the regulators. But what about the internal policies, procedures, guidelines? Don't our internal functions and operations also need to align with them? Also, we need to. So, as a way of ensuring that operational activities are aligning with these issuances that are internal, be they policies, procedures, guidelines, standards or frameworks that we have adopted, or laws and regulations that have been enforced on the industry where we operate. The practice of ensuring that alignment is what we call what? Compliance. So in compliance, there's nothing like if you like or not. Compliance is mandatory, is a practice that is mandatory across board in the institution. Where there are non-compliance, the institution will be open to cases like fines, instances like fines, or will be exposed to risk. Hope that is clear. For example, a compliance officer at a software company might work to ensure that their system abides by regulations such as what? GDPR. So can I cap it up here with on compliance that the enforcement of data privacy is what? Is a practice of compliance, is a compliance practice. Let me put it that way. The enforcement of data privacy. Please, I hope you now know what I mean by the word enforcement, because data privacy is aided by law. So the enforcement of data privacy is compliance in practice. I hope you are getting it. Compliance at work. Do you get it? So can you now see that a data privacy officer doubles as a compliance officer? Can you connect the dots now? Can I get a thumb up if that is clear? Can you connect the dots now? That a compliance officer, a data privacy officer is also a compliance officer. So if you go for an interview or you're on a panel. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Babatunde. If you're on a panel interviewing a supposed data privacy or a data privacy applicant, I'll be expecting you to bring compliance questions into that discourse. I'll be expecting you to ask that, how will you, as a data privacy specialist for this institution, double as a compliance officer too? How will you be integrating compliance into, I hope you're getting me. I don't want to make the question too technical. Or what is your understanding of compliance as a practice, data privacy as a practice or as an implementation? Let the individual juxtapose and integrate. Okay. If that is clear, let's move on and see objective of GRC. Number one objective of GRC, what GRC intends to achieve is that individual objective across business units, functions, operational centers, that their various objectives and goals are aligning with the overall mission and vision statement of the institution, or with the overall short-term, mid-term, and long-term objective of the organization. That's what we call strategic alignments. But narrowed down to security governance, I hope you are getting me, is ensuring that all the security practices in the organization aligns with the overall objective of that institution. That's one. Number two, risk management, just where we are coming from. In this light, you are implementing a robust framework. In other words, as a risk manager, you are not operating on guesses or hearsay. I hope you are getting me. For those of you that will be towing the path of risk management, you should never operate risk management practice in your institution or for your clients. If you're a risk management practitioner for your clients, based on hunches or guesses or professional judgment, no. An ideal risk management practice should hinge on what? Corporate standards, framework. One of such is what? ISO 31000. If it's cybersecurity risk management, you will find that in NIST Cybersecurity Framework 2.0. Oh, go and read it. Very fantastic document from the United States. It has a segment on risk management. Very, very robust. I've gone through it, so I know what I'm saying. Well, if you want to come to the light of what? If it's risk management in the light of GRC, I give you what? Risk IT. As in GRC for IT. You know, I mentioned earlier that there's GRC legal, GRC IT, GRC. You are talking about GRC for IT. Go to ISACA's risk IT. There's a framework called risk IT. You can go adopt it and domesticate it within your system. The next concept is called value delivery. That what? The institution is creating and delivering value, and we continue so. Please note, if you set up a unit or a function and you cannot assess value creation and delivery from that unit, is not what's sustaining, close down that unit or merge it, integrate with another unit. Every practice, every operation in an institution should generate value. Whatever the institution does should gear towards what? Value creation and value. For instance, in cybersecurity, our ability to implement data privacy and ensure that there's privacy of what? Client data in our custody is what? Is you are creating and you are delivering value. Is an assurance practice. The next one is called resource optimization. There's the likelihood that we might be wasteful with resources. Not we, sorry, that an organization might be wasteful with resource utilization. Are you getting? There might be likelihood that an organization is grossly inefficient with resource allocation and utilization. According to Peter Drucker, he said effectiveness is doing the right thing. Efficiency is doing things right. Please note that. I'm not going to teach you tonight. It's a long class, but I'm going to summarize it in our next class. So, it's your assignment. So you do well by reminding me. Yes, not because I'll forget, but if you don't remind me to teach you effectiveness and efficiency, I'm not going to teach it. So it's your assignment. And I'm not going to ask you what assignment did I give you. So you'll be the one to tell me that I gave you an assignment to remind me to teach you something. I hope we're together. So resource optimization, you are not overallocating resources to tasks. You're not underallocating resources to tasks. You are rather allocating resources in the light of IT now, technological resources, financial resources, personal resources equal to the task. Project managers know what I'm talking about here. Performance measurement, that there are metrics put in place to both measure, monitor, and report on performances. Examples, when we talk about performance, targets. Did we set targets for ourselves? What we want to actualize? Okay. Do we have metrics, skills, measurement skills put in place to what? To assess our level of performance. And by the results of that skill, determine if we are going to achieve or we are achieving or otherwise. Then, like a good example of performance measurement metric is what? KPI. Then lastly, assurance process integration. There are functions in an institution who are meant to what? Provide assurance. What is assurance? Assurance is an organizational culture. Yes. Is it culture? Is a corporate culture. The essence of this culture is to ensure that we will create and deliver value and continue so. That's what we call assurance. An institution is existing for value creation, doubles with value delivery. A department might be creating value, yet another department is delivering that value. I hope you are getting. For instance, production department might be creating value. Sales department or marketing department might be what? Delivering value. Production department might be creating value. Front desk is delivering value by selling the right information about what we do. Value creation functions, value delivering functions are all assurance functions. Accounts and finance department will be ensuring that there is proper what? Documentation of finances. These are assurance-based functions. I hope you are getting it. Now, the concept of assurance process integration is to ensure that within the purview of governance, all assurance functions are integrated. That is, there will be goal congruence. So by implementing assurance integration, all assurance responsibilities will be goal congruent. I hope you are getting it. Eventually, assurance process integration will tilt or guarantee strategic alignment. These 6 objectives, or what I call pillars of governance, are quite enormous. But as a state holder, office occupants, you should understand these 6 objectives. So I like to cap it up here. What else? Okay, let me ask questions. I mean, give room for questions. Today's class has been more of giving me thumb ups that you are following. You can hear me and all of that. The same thing too for privacy class. So I want to give this room for questions. I want to entertain questions. We've seen GRC broadly. Are you getting me? Please, broadly, not narrowly, vertically. So I want to entertain questions or comments or opinion. Please, the floor is yours now. We've got 5 minutes. Let me hear. Or you want to share your own experience of GRC with us. Please, you do well. The floor is yours. Let's hear from you. Contribute. Hello. I can only hear myself. Who is asking questions? Who is contributing?